Hey there, everybody. Are you ready to hear our review of the greatest wrestling match ever? We
Yeah.
are. But real quick, before we get into that, don't you forget to leave a damn comment. Elbow drop that like button and
Punt?
punt the head off of our subscribe button for the win.
Yeah.
Little foreshadowing there.
He's
But yeah,
going
we
to that
appreciate
place.
he went there. We appreciate your support and thank you for watching. Gentlemen, we watched Edge, not yet Cope, versus Randy Orton at
Oh,
Backlash
Cope.
2020, Backrash 2020. The greatest wrestling match ever. It was something, tell you that much.
You know what? I did enjoy it. It was a good match. I would say it was one of the best matches I've seen in either men's career of what I've seen of them. Is it the greatest wrestling match ever? No. And I think that's what's killed it. Like that killed the match. I read an article before I watched the match. It was about Randy Orton. He was saying like, oh, it was a bit of a stressful situation to be under. And it's like, you think? Like, your boss is saying, yeah, they're going to have the best match ever. And you're like, I guess. All right, I'll do my best. But I thought, especially Randy Orton, this is like some of the best work he's ever done.
Yeah.
Like, goodness gracious, he was on fire.
Just like, I really hope none of the Vince has never heard of Kenny Omega.
Well, actually, I think I know why they did this. If you want the little rundown, Vince was big on, like, if you look something up on Google, he wanted WWE to pop up. So if you look up greatest wrestling match ever, well, there's a match called the greatest wrestling match ever. That's why they did AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura so many times. When you look that match up, you're not going to see the New Japan one. You're going to see the WWE ones.
That's funny.
So Vince was just big on that, and he would do that just because he was Vince, obviously. So I'm sure AEW had a good match, and people were calling it the greatest match ever, and he was like, I think you gotta look, Edge and Randy
Ask
Orton.
for Google.
Yeah, I didn't think it was as bad as you guys were conditioning me to think it was.
It's the WrestleMania one that's bad.
Yeah. I think I had them confused, but also I just thought it was really funny to throw that one out there.
I'm not gonna knock Randy Orton or Edge for this. Like they worked really hard. Um, it went really long. Like it could have been a little shorter, and that being coined the best wrestling match ever really did it some harm. But overall, like if that was 10, 15 minutes shorter and in front of 10 to 12,000 people, that would have been an all-timer.
Yeah. The funny thing is I after that ended, I just let it roll into the next one, and then like something was in the Thunderdome on there, and I was like, oh, I forgot about the shitty screens. Oh God, that's awkward.
Yeah, this is only like I was thinking about it while I was watching the match, because it was so long. I had time to ponder, and I was just like, what, like, Chad, how many like of this era of WWE matches have you actually watched? Because I stopped watching at this time, but I want to know how many did you watch of WWE?
I was watching all the PLEs live at that time, until because AEW was like just kind of like I was in that weird transition where I was sort of just watching everything, and it was the pandemic. What else did I have to do?
Yeah.
So yeah, I watched a lot of that stuff, and at the time it was just like, oh well, at least they're doing something. But now, like, God, this is weird and kind of depressing.
Yeah, I think I've cherry picked, I think, the best matches to go back and watch. I'm sure there's a couple more that I haven't seen, but like I've only seen the Firefly Funhouse match, the Boneyard match, so Undertaker and AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan's last WWE match, which was pretty good. He worked his ass off. The triple threat at Mania 37. So that was Reigns, Edge, and Bryan, also very good. And then this match. So I've only seen 5, but
Huh.
I think I cherry picked the right ones to kind of go. But like it is still depressing. Like Daniel Bryan had his last match in WWE in front of nobody, in front of
Yeah.
screens. Roman Reigns was crowned the tribal chief by killing Daniel Bryan in WWE, and nobody was there to see it.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy to think about.
Drew McIntyre won the belt off of Brock Lesnar.
In 5 minutes to nothing. Like
Yeah.
that was before they even piped in stuff. That was just the empty performance center.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, you
it's
could
so
actually hear the
sad.
ceiling fans like.
Can we just talk about the best match ever, please?
Yeah.
Let's laugh at Cope. I'm kidding. Both did great. Like honestly, I was like, man, this is only 5 years ago, but Cope looks fantastic.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was like, man, he moves so well right now.
If
I was
AEW got
impressed.
this Cope and he was brothering, I think I'd be fine with it because I'd be like, he's put on good matches.
Yeah.
This is my first Randy Orton non-multi-man match, and I was super impressed with him. I get it now. I am now a fan of Randy Orton. Like, too bad he's like not the healthiest, right? Like,
He's
It's
pretty.
not that he's kind of lazy.
He plays a lot of Elden Ring, is what I hear.
Yeah, I think he's got like 600 hours on it, which is like mad respect. But the issue with Orton, and I love Orton because I've been watching him for years, but you can just tell when he's not into a feud or into a match, and he kind of half-asses it, and so the match always suffers. But ever since he's come back from his injury, he's been motivated with everything that he's done, and he's been great. But the Orton you saw is not the Orton you typically get.
Yeah.
he was really great. Really put in a lot of work. A lot of work. But yeah, Backlash 2020, pandemic era, no crowd. We just had some NXT jabronis, which
That was actually the best
Chandler
part of the show.
wrote down everyone who he spotted, who he knows who they are.
There were plenty of people I didn't know, but there were a couple names that I saw immediately. I'll shout out Marina Shafir. Dave pointed her out, and I just missed her. But all of Hit Row was there, so that's Top Dollar, B Fab, Ashanta the Adonis, and for some reason, not sitting next to them, Swervelin Strickland. So it was pretty cool to
His
see
name,
him.
something to Scott.
It was like Swerve Isaiah Scott, I think. And I don't know what they were gonna call him because he wasn't around long. Which again, that's like bizarre that they just were
Right?
like, we don't need you. And then again, speaking of AEW World Champions, Samoa Joe on commentary, and then they were like, we don't need you. Like, really?
And then come back, and then we don't need you again.
WWE was so stupid during this time. Also stupid for this guy. It's like, how did he not succeed in WWE? Stokely Hathaway was there. How do you have Stokely Hathaway? I mean, AEW's doing it right now because we don't know where he is, and I quite miss him. But
Yeah.
so Stokely, the Cowie girls, from Monday Night Raw. I think they're on SmackDown now. Good old Come Tuesday, Von Wagner, Ridge Holland. So those are the ones I knew. Or Mansoor, I knew. And then I'm pretty sure I saw Ivy Nile. I'm not 100% sure because again, this is 5 years ago. Odyssey Jones, I think I saw him. And I know Riddick Moss was there. He was sitting right next to Swerve. And then the last one, it was like a blink and you miss it. Like I literally had to pause. I think I saw Roderick Strong, which is pretty cool. Love that guy. But it's also one of those things like, could you imagine being on the roster for WWE and you're like, you're just going to be in the crowd? Like, I know it was a pandemic, but it's still like, Swerve Strickland, you're just going to be in the crowd. And Roderick Strong, you're just in the crowd.
And you're gonna wear the shirt of a main eventer.
Yeah, wear the shirt of a real superstar, buddy. Man, you know how funny it would be if I can't remember what shirt Swerve was wearing, but if it was an Edge shirt, and then
Oh
they
yeah.
do Swerve and Cope, and he was like, "You were a mark sitting in the crowd wearing my shirt," and they somehow pull it up, and he's like, "That's WWE footage. How do you have that?"
Yep.
Dude, you're gonna get us sued.
But yeah, it was cool. I popped for Swerve pretty hard. They showed him like right in the beginning, and then like for a second during the match at one point.
I thought I hallucinated. I was like, "There's no way that's Swerve." Like I went back and rewatched. And I was like, I'm racist because I think it's Swerve, and it's not. And then like they showed him again. I'm like, "I'm right, baby. I'm right."
Yeah, really fun, man. So this is a departure from the WrestleMania match where it was like a no DQ,
So
falls count anywhere.
there was a last man standing match at Mania. I do remember the build to this match. So it was a last man standing match at Mania, and it was all built on Orton being like, "You're suck. You're not good enough to come back." And so Edge beat him there, and then they had a steel cage match, and I'm pretty sure Edge beat him there too. And then they were like, "Well, we've had 2 matches. Let's have one last match, and it's just a wrestling match." And then that
Yeah.
spun into the greatest wrestling match ever somehow.
Charles Robinson, reffing, broke down the rules, no hair pulling, no low blows, uh, straight up wrestling. So yeah, right off the bat, Randy Orton, uh, stops a third arm drag in a row, kind of making, Edge look like a fool. Smart thinking. Randy Orton trips Edge out of the ring. Again, Edge looked kind of like a fool, a little embarrassing. Randy Orton's really, using his brains here. Edge uh, knocks Orton out of the ring. Or no, he lures Randy Orton in and out of the ring, and then comes around the corner and boots Orton. Finally getting his comeuppance. Edge headbutts Orton to the apron from the top rope, and then clotheslines him to the floor. At this point, Orton's head is bleeding. This is like the first time in the match too, where I was like kind of getting into it a little more. They're battling on the top rope in the corner, and then all this happens. Uh, Not a whole lot of bleeding in WWE at this point, right? Was that the hard way, or
I
did he
think it was.
blade?
No, I
Because
think
that
it was
was
the
on
hard way.
it was on the corner of his eyebrow.
Huh.
Maybe he did, and he was just slick about it.
Yeah, because it was
Uh,
pretty quick. Like
yeah.
camera didn't cut away from him for very long.
So way too early in the match, the NXT dorks started chanting, "This is awesome."
Well, it was awesome, Dave. It was the greatest wrestling match ever. Okay, if you were there, you would have joined in.
Because you had Vince McMahon in their ear, right?
Or maybe it was like one of them was standing close to Gorilla, and like if you listen real quietly, you can hear him go, "Shout, this is awesome! Damn it, this is awesome! Damn it!" And then they start.
Behind the hard cam, they just have a big sign that they lift up.
That would be funny. It's just like this is what you start chanting now, and then they got like do the dueling chant. So then they just start doing Edge, they start doing Orton.
But yeah, I felt it was a little premature, but who am I? Uh, let's see. Orton, at one point on the floor, like just shoves Edge into the glass, then the apron, then the announce desk, and then the steel steps. Just completely dominating Edge. Uh, Orton, let's see, chops Edge. Um, his back drops him on the announce desk. Edge tries to do Randy Orton tries to do 3 amigos, but Edge stops him at only 2 amigos, but then Edge ends up getting all 3. Ooh. Reminded me of Mercedes Moné.
Mm. This is what I noticed, that especially BFAB really wanted Orton to win. So like Orton hit the first one, she's like, yeah. And then he hit the second one, she's like, yeah. And then Edge countered it. She's like, no, no. And she's like overacting. And I'm like, same. I feel you there. Same. I like if that was Takeshita, I'd be like, no.
Right? So at one point they're both laying flat in the ring and they're like chopping each other on the ground, and then they get on their knees and chop each other, then they get on their feet and chop each other. I liked that. I really did, actually. I've never seen anyone chop each other out laying flat on their backs. I've never seen that. It was good. Edge hits Orton with the execution and covers, but Orton kicks out. Orton hits Edge with an Olympic slam. Little Kurt Angle shout out. Covers him for a 2 count. Edge counters an RKO with an Edge-O-Matic. Edge hits Orton with a kill switch, or also known as the Unprettier, which we see pretty often in AEW.
I
Christian
legit
Cage.
like I watched Chelsea Green. I see her hit the move, and I see them call it the unpretty her, and I still forgot that it was called the unprettier. So I was like, "Oh, he hit a kill switch," and then they were like, "Oh, it's an unprettier," and I was like, "A what? He hit a what now?" Like, I'm so Christian Cage coded now.
You are. I am too. Uh, Edge covers, but Orton kicks out of that. At this point in the match, I'm noticing so before the match started, commentary let us know that they were gonna have 3D camera angles and enhanced audio. I didn't know what that meant until I heard fake crowd noise being piped into this match. I'm like, oh, that's enhanced audio.
The worst part was when they got crowds back, but they still kept using it.
Yeah.
That was really off-putting.
Yep. There were times I kind of wished AEW kind of would have done that when they were booking those huge arenas with like nobody in there.
I think it's
Uh,
I still think it's always better to not pipe in crowd noises. I think it just, unless like, yeah, I don't know. I've never seen it. Maybe I'm just used to being in WWE and it's being cringe, but I'm just not a fan of the fake crowd noises.
yeah. So yeah, I noticed the fake crowd noise piped in. Uh, Edge kicks out after a pedigree Triple H shout out. This is when I saw Marina Shafir in the crowd. Um, after that, Edge hits a rock bottom. Shout out to The Rock. Orton kicks out. This is where they showed Swerve in the crowd again. Orton kicks out of a backslide pin and then uppercuts Edge. Edge kicks out of an RKO. Weird. Edge spears Orton, then again, and he covers him, but Edge kicks out, Orton kicks out at 2. Edge kicks out of another RKO. That's 2 at this point. Orton ends up blink and you'll miss it, but he low blows Edge, kinda. It didn't really like. It wasn't that clear to me. That's what commentary said.
I think,
Is it-
yeah. Oh, what were you gonna say?
So yeah, they were even iffy on it. It was like, I don't know. I guess it was kind of low, sorta.
I think they didn't want to do a ref bump and they still wanted a low blow, which is really hard to do. So I think that's the best way they came up with, which is, it's fine. I think it was fine enough to be like, oh, even if it wasn't a low blow specifically, maybe he hit him in his gut and it was enough to kind of like wind him or whatever.
Wikipedia said it was a low blow. So I was like, and I read that before I watched it. I was like, huh. It's like that it wasn't clear to me. But Edge is on the ground and Orton punt kicks his head off for the win. Uh, 15 seconds shy of 45 minutes of in-ring, almost an hour, counting entrances and after the match. Um, very, very long match. But they both really put in a lot of work. They took a ton of bumps. It was a little plotting for a few time, few moments, but uh, they had their rest holds where they had to catch their breath, a lot of laying down, catching their breath, but yeah, it was not terribly bad. Like I said, if they maybe 15 minutes shorter and 10,000 people in the arena, it would have been one for the ages and
Yeah,
not called the best wrestling match ever.
greatest. Yeah, no, I kind of did that as a troll. That I was like watching him, like this isn't as bad as I remember it, huh?
Yeah. And I
Oh,
mean, this is my first time watching it. I liked it. I could see myself watching this again. Not anytime soon, but maybe if like I think this would be my go-to like Edge match. And I'm sure there are other better ones. I'm just like right now I'm like, yeah, it was a good one.
yeah. No, I think I might have been conflating the WrestleMania one with that one, just because they called this one the greatest match ever. So I was like, yeah, that really. Nah, the WrestleMania one was way worse.
That one's coming next week. Stick around, Grapple Maniacs.
Please no.
36 minutes of torture.
Do you have the card handy?
I do, and I wanted to play a game. If you
I
guys will
got
humor
some.
me.
I got
Oh,
two questions for you. One involving the card.
uh,
What in the hell was that Viking Raiders Street Profit thing? You didn't watch that, did you? You just read
no,
about it.
no,
Oh my God. I
I've
watched it.
only heard of this. I don't really know either, but I think it's like what. So
They were supposed to have a match.
I think it was some feud they had. They were trying to like prove they were better at like stuff other than wrestling.
Yeah,
So they had like a basketball free throwing contest.
The
I think they
bowling, mini
yeah.
golf,
And
fighting ninjas.
this is the one where the ninjas came out, right?
Yeah, man. And they're in a dumpster with a freaking alligator. Like, I'm like, what is happening? They're like overacting and acting terribly. I'm just like, what is this? I didn't know if like you knew anything about it.
So I'm
Oh, it was
sorry.
bad.
I see something else. The segment ended after both teams were spooked by a tentacle creature.
as one
It
is.
it was the tail of a fake alligator in the what it looked like to me. Yeah, it was absolutely insane. It was really it was bad. The match we watched was good. This was really bad.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the card and I'm like, there's no Street Profits and Viking Raiders. So I had to scroll up to find it on Wikipedia. I might go back and watch that. I might have to see what the hell that was.
Yeah, I recommend it. It was if you want to be weirded out, do it. And then one of their female refs like pops her head over the dumpsters like, Ivar, you're kind of cute. I'm like, what is going on right now?
Apparently, I also
Uh,
read that they said that was like a gag. Like they were doing that for a while. Like, oh, Ivar, you're cute. Eric, you're not. And
I
it's like,
vaguely remember that.
and it's like, okay. What was your other question about the card?
well, why did they have a graphic and a sign over the ring that said MSG?
Madison Square Garden. It was
But they were in the performance center.
that was the specific mic that they used for WrestleMania 1. And so that was to kind of like honor like, and that's something I didn't mention about the match that I actually quite liked. Like all the surrounding stuff, making it the greatest wrestling match ever. I think they did a good job. Charles Robinson as the ref with the blue bow tie or blue shirt and bow tie. Using Howard Finkel posthumously, like I think that worked because they actually did announce those men. I liked that. And then that was the mic they used from WrestleMania. I don't know if it was the one. They might have recreated it, but it was a mic made to look like the one they used at WrestleMania 1, which is why they.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was confused. I was like, I know Chandler will know.
All right. We're going to play a game. It's going to be called
All right.
What Happened on the Card? So, starting on the pre-show, Apollo Crews defeated somebody to retain the United States Championship. Who was it? And I'll give you a hint if you need it.
AJ Styles.
No, but you got the A. Their name starts with an A.
Oh man.
Oh,
Adam Copeland. No, wait.
This person has wrestled for AEW.
ooh. Oh, man. Don't know.
Any guesses, Chad, or you want me to say it?
I got nothing.
Andrade.
Makes so much sense.
So, next up, Bayley and Sasha Banks retain the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions in a triple threat. I'll give you one of the teams. They beat the Iconics. What was the other team?
I watched this match. So
Oh, okay. Chad, I'll give you a hint. It's two women that had big returns in the last year or so.
Oh shoot, was Naomi and somebody?
No. One of them was a lot more recent.
Oh man. You know I don't remember things.
It was Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross.
Oh yeah, they were so good together.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. That match was so like there was no sound, like nothing. Like you just hear people hitting the mat and like it was just like nobody cheering and oh, it was so bad.
They said, I read they only did it for the main event because they only pre-recorded the main event. I think the rest was live. So that's why they didn't do that, which is odd. Next up, Sheamus defeated whom by a pinfall? He's in TNA right now. There's your hint.
Mustafa Ali.
No. Think bigger up the card.
Nick Nemeth.
Arguably bigger because he's had more world titles.
In TNA right now. Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, it was Jeff Hardy. Asuka defeated Blank in a double countout. To retain.
I already know.
She's not like other girls.
No. Good old Nia.
Yeah, it was Nia Jax. How was this match, Dave? Or did you watch?
No, I just fast forwarded it through it.
Ooh, this one's fun. Braun Strowman, to retain the Universal Championship, defeated blank and blank in a 1-on-2 handicap match. I'll give you one hint if you know this, Dave, right?
Yeah.
One of them is in WWE and one of them is in AEW, and they were a tag team.
Oh, shoot.
This is a crazy match to put on a pay-per-view. I'm like stunned they put this on a pay-per-view, but it is WWE.
I'm spacing. No, I got nothing.
The Miz and John Morrison.
Oh. Yeah, I remember seeing the promo for that. Whoops.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, Drew McIntyre. This one I'm surprised at because I think they did this match at the next Backlash. Drew McIntyre defeated blank to retain the WWE Championship. Dave, do you know?
I mean, I just fast forwarded through it. It was shoot. Oh yeah, yeah.
A common theme also in AEW.
Oh,
His name and the name of the pay-per-view have something in common.
oh, Lashley.
Yeah. I'm surprised they had Bobby Lashley lose to Drew McIntyre a year before they had Bobby Lashley beat Drew McIntyre.
Huh. Long-term storytelling, baby.
Yeah. And then, of course, Randy Orton defeated Edge. I don't know who that guy is. I only know Cope.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was Backlash 2020. And then it was WrestleMania Backlash for a couple of years. And now it's just Backlash.
Yeah. Yeah, and I let it, and I just let it kind of keep playing after that too, and then all of a sudden I like looked up and I was like, "Oh yeah, it's the Lumberjack Zombie match." That's on the 2021.
I forgot about that match. Apparently, that one too, you can look in the crowd and see NXT people as zombies. I've heard you can see Braun Breaker as like a
Nice.
Yeah,
zombie.
I read that too. Yeah. Yeah. Um, anything announced for Dynamite?
It's crazy. Remember how last week we only had like Kenny Omega will be there and that was it? We have 7 whole things.
Damn.
7 whole things. And you know what? Most of them look pretty cool. So I may or may not be excited for Dynamite. MJF gives his answer to MVP. I am looking forward to
Oh,
that because I
that'll be
like
fun.
everything MJF is doing. This one I'm looking forward to, but for all the wrong reasons. A rated FTR sit down with Tony Schiavone. Oh, I'm so excited for that crap. That's gonna be so awful. Next up, this match will be good. Powerhouse Hobbs versus Mark Davis.
Oh, damn. What?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be
Next
good.
one.
Dude,
Oh, sorry.
Hobbs is the meat match king,
Yeah.
dude.
Next up, Mark Briscoe versus Takeshita. That'll be fun.
What?
Yeah.
What?
So I'm like, wait, this Dynamite's gonna be good this week. What are all these matches? Tony Storm and Thunder Rosa versus Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Brody King versus Kyle Fletcher.
Damn.
Hell.
And then do you guys know Blake Christian?
Sounds familiar.
No.
They're doing Kenny Omega versus Blake Christian.
Is he an ROH guy or a New Japan guy?
I think he's MLW for some reason. He's an indie guy, and I only know of him because he was popular on Twitter a couple months ago. But I've literally never seen him wrestle. I've only seen memes of him. So I'm looking forward to seeing him wrestle. I think he was in like a couple Ring of Honor matches, but I don't think he's in Ring of Honor.
Fair.
I think I remember him being. Wasn't he in the Revolution pre-show
He
with
was.
Lee Johnson?
I think he was, and he fought Hologram and Commander, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think he is an ROH guy, and they're like saying he's like gonna be big, or he's doing really great work. I've heard a lot of compliments. So
Yeah.
Cool.
all right, dude, Dynamite sounds really good, like really good. Remember the old Thunderstorm days, Chad? Tony Storm and Thunder
Yeah.
Rosa. We were a tag team for a while.
Really?
Yeah,
I never knew
Yep.
that. That's crazy.
that was before the Outcasts thing, I think.
Yeah. It's pretty
Ooh.
short-lived too.
I kind of want to get the Athena thing on Dynamite, but they might be slow burning that.
They might be. I feel like that's a better double or nothing match than Dynasty, but
Mhm.
Yeah.
They want it on Dynasty, then I don't think that's a bad idea. But it's also we're 2 weeks out from Dynasty. We're 2 Dynamites out. So I don't know. It
Apparently,
kind of feel
somebody's here.
rushed.
Yeah.
Fixed it.
But cool, yeah. Pretty excited for Dynamite now that I know what's gonna be on it. The match we reviewed was pretty fun. It was kind of neat, man. And seeing Edge with like the long hair and no beard instead of short hair with a beard was really weird for me. I think he looks cooler now,
I would agree with
personally.
that. But that was his look for years. That
Yeah.
was the Edge look. The long hair, clean shaven, just kind of looking like a rat bastard. And then he came back and he's like all this baby face and he still got long hair, but him cutting it was the right idea.
Yeah. Yep. I just want to figure out how we're gonna get to Cope and Christian.
I want Cope and Orton 4, baby. Cope Orton.
Cope Orton.
Could you imagine they actually do like the AEW WWE Super Show, and they're like, "What's Randy Orton gonna do? That's a good match." And people and they do Cope and Orton 4.
That'd be funny.
That would have to be a
Although,
2-night thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
2 days ago, AEW and WWE ended up on the same card. It was Chris Bay's tribute show.
Oh yeah, Karrion Kross was
Ooh.
there, and
Swerve was there.
Yeah.
yeah.
He was supposed to wrestle, but he's not cleared yet.
Is he really?
Yeah, that burst eardrum.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, hopefully he can be
God, I
cleared.
hope that doesn't affect Dynasty.
You know, if he can't make it, I know a guy who's ready to take the charge and lead AEW against John Moxley and the Death Riders.
Cope. We can have a Cope.
Yeah, Cope Mox 4. Skip 3. They're already on the 4.
Yeah.
With special guest
Oh my
referee Randall Keith Orton.
Oh, I would be into that though. If they were if, like they just like no sold it, they're like, yeah, we're just gonna have Randy Orton as the special guest. Like, no reason, we're just gonna.
Right on. Well, I think that just about does it. You guys got anything else?
I got nothing.
Yeah, just excited for Dynamite. That's about it.
Yeah.
I do need everyone out there in YouTube land to, again, leave a damn comment. Let us know if you liked the match we reviewed, if you remember anything about this pay-per-view, anything coming up you want to talk about, WrestleMania, AEW, Dynasty, Shane McMahon debuting in AEW at Dynasty, anything you want to talk about. We want to hear it. And if you have a suggestion for a retro view that you'd like us to watch, lay it on us. We'll do it. But other than that, thank you, Chad. Thank you, Chandler. That was a fun one.
Dave.
What's our next
And-
one before you sign us off?
Oh,
Isn't
yeah.
it your turn, Dave?
It is. I'd like to do Macho Man DDP 3. We're going a little out of order. This is actually 2 that we're going to review at Great American Bash 97. So the first one we reviewed all of Halloween Havoc 97, and that match just happened to be on it. And then we reviewed
Spring Stampede one.
Spring Stampede. Oh, we might be in order then. Because Spring, I don't know. Halloween Havoc was technically 3. But yeah, we're going just a little jumbled out of order here. So technically the Great American Bash one is 2, but we're watching it last. So yeah, I would really like to watch that. I didn't know they had a what do you call it? Trilogy.
Mhm.
So that might be one of my favorite feuds in the history of WCW. Clearly, I love it because this is the third match that they've had. But that's my favorite Macho Man era. DDP was super cool back then. Like, they were like really trying to turn him into a star, and this feud solidified it. He was a main eventer after this, so it worked.
Yeah.
So
Looking forward to it. Gotta finish the story, brother.
Yeah, we do. But cool. All right, I think we're gonna get out of here. And thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for hitting that like button, clicking that bell, and whatever else you do. All right, gentlemen. Engagement. All right. Have a good night, good day, good morning. Bye. Hey.
Bye.
Bye bye.